I deleted social media 5 months ago, and that decision was truly life-changing. Throughout 2022, social media started to rub me the wrong way. I've never used Twitter, and I would only really go on YouTube if I needed to learn something, but I would spend a significant amount of time on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok to me started to feel like a mental landfill. The content on there is truly mind-numbing. The videos I would see seemed to be created by creators who were intentionally spamming the algorithm in hopes that one of their videos would go viral. And if that's the case, I'm assuming these creators weren't putting a lot of effort into their videos. Therefore, I viewed the platform in general as a landfill of unfinished and undeveloped ideas. Instagram, on the other hand, came off as a breeding ground for jealousy. Everyone is posting to show off, and when people do that, viewers start to crave things they didn't initially want in the first place. For example, you see people posting, oh, I'm in a relationship, I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend, look at the things that we do, look at what they buy me, look at how happy we are together, oh, look, I just bought my first house, my first apartment, my first car, oh, look, I just graduated school and I'm working at a prestigious law firm and I'm gonna move to the other side of the world and live my dream life, oh, look, it's my birthday, I have so many friends, look, we're all gonna go party together, we're all having a great time, I'm so well liked, I'm so loved. That is really unhealthy for absolutely everybody involved. By the end of 2022, these realizations outweighed any reason to stay on these platforms, so I deleted the apps. And now I'm going to share what I've learned while being on my social media detox. The first thing I learned is that I was using social media as an unhealthy way to cope with being lonely. It's taken me a while to develop this mindset, but I am someone who values quality over quantity. The friends that I do have, maybe a small group of them, but they are people who will always be there for me no matter what time, no matter what I have to say. They will always give me truthful and honest advice, even if it hurts, because they love me. I also am someone who spends a lot of time on their own. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself, by myself from Sunday to Sunday, so I spend a lot of time in my own company. And if I'm getting deep and personal, I've always felt a little bit like an outsider since elementary school until now. I feel like it's been hard for me to find groups of people who understand me, who I can relate to, and who accept me for who I am and don't try to change me. Looking back on when I would use social media, I realized that in moments where I wasn't working and I wasn't seeing friends, whenever I'd have free time, I would go on social media and I would look at people's posts, people I wouldn't even talk to, and I would see that they were going out to lunch or sharing highlights from their weekend or how they're in classes together. And to me, it always felt like nobody was ever alone. And I would start to have these thoughts that would come into my head like, why don't I have as many friends? Am I unlikable? Do I sabotage my relationships? Am I unenjoyable to be around? And now I would tell my past self, no, that's not the case. You know, you have very valuable friendships. You have people who love you. People are just sharing their highlights. They also spend time on their own. You just don't see that often. I'd also tell my past self, you know, people who have hundreds of friends, most of those people are fake friends. I read this quote. It essentially said, if you are well liked by everybody, then you are doing something wrong because you're most likely living inauthentically. You're living with this persona that you've created that pleases everyone. But who is that really? Because I'm assuming that's not really who you are. And if you're living a life where you're trying to please everyone, then I'd assume that you're not very happy. The next thing I learned is that it's really unhealthy to know what everyone's up to all the time. As humans, that's not a natural thing. For example, maybe you're going through a breakup and you're following your ex and his friends on social media and you're seeing their stories, their posts on their life, the new friends that they're making, the adventures they're going on, the events that they're going to. How are you supposed to move on? The natural thing is for you to not see their stuff, not hear from them, and focus on yourself, better yourself, heal yourself in order for you to move on and live a meaningful life. Let me tell you, when I deleted social media, my fear of missing out disappeared almost instantly. I developed this new mindset of if you weren't directly told, then you weren't supposed to know. And by that, I mean the people I hold close and dear to me, if something happens in their life, I will know almost immediately. For example, if my friend is getting married, I will know. They will text me, they will call me, I'll get a letter. If something happens in my family and someone ends up in the hospital, I will know almost immediately. I will get a call. If my friend is going through a breakup, she will tell me. I'll get that text, I'll get that call. If I'm on social media and I see that someone had a birthday party and they didn't invite me and I start to feel bad, why? They obviously didn't want you there. And you probably didn't consider them a really good friend if you didn't remember it was their birthday in the first place. That leads me into my next point. I was essentially using social media as a way to stay in touch with people who sparked ill feelings in me. When I graduated from high school, I was bullied. I was excluded. Rumors were made about me. People were disrespectful towards me. People I thought were my friends didn't stand up to these people. They actually became friends with these people. And that was really hurtful. And when I was on social media and posts from these people who bullied me would pop up, I would just start to feel really angry. And now that I've been on my social media detox, I realized that anger stemmed from my younger self. My younger self felt disrespected that my current self would allow these people into my personal space. Why? If I cannot respect myself, who will? If I cannot stand up for myself, who will? I also realized that my self-esteem isn't as high as I thought it was. I was comparing myself to people online, and this is something we commonly hear in today's society. But on social media, you're seeing hundreds of perfect people pop up on your For You page, your main feed, your Explore feed. Whether you want to admit it or not, it makes you question your own value. And when I was on social media, I would see people with perfect noses, or they would be dressed a certain way, or their hair would be a certain way, and people would admire them. And when I would post stuff about me, well, I didn't get that reaction, and that would make me feel like I was less important, less special, less beautiful than a lot of people you see online. And that is unhealthy. And let me tell you, now that I don't have social media, I truly believe if you care for yourself, if you do your best to better yourself, if you try to be the best version of yourself you can be, you are a beautiful person. And be confident in your own skin, because there's only one of you. And I know this sounds really cliche, but so many things had to happen in order for you to be here. The next thing I learned is that I was spending way too much time on social media. While I had it, my screen time was 7 to 8 hours a day. And now my screen time is 1 to 2 hours a day. If I'm being honest, in moments where I didn't have work to do and I didn't have plans, I would freak out a little bit. I wouldn't know what to do with myself, so I'd instinctively go on social media to pass the time. Also, while I'd be doing work, if I felt myself stressed or overwhelmed or I couldn't figure something out, I would go on social media, and from there I'd get a dopamine rush, I'd get my little spark of entertainment, and then I'd go back to my work and it became even more unfulfilling, and it would take me even longer to do. Now that I don't have social media, I actually have time to do things I've been meaning to get to. I've started learning how to cook. I tried Pilates. I've read so many books. I even spend more time with my family. Your days truly become longer when you're not on these apps. This point ties into my previous point. I was spending way too much time trying to recreate trends. And now that I don't have social media, I think that what I was doing in the past was honestly pretty pointless. I'm a social media manager. That's what I do for work. And I would validate my screen time by using my job as an excuse. The truth is, if you use trends to grow a following, you're inauthentically portraying yourself. You're using someone else's ideas to grow your own platforms. And to that I ask, what is that worth? People are going to see your post for less than 3 seconds. They're going to like it, maybe comment, and then they're going to forget you exist. And you're most likely going to do the same thing to their posts. So even if your follower count does grow, what does that matter? Followers, yes, they're people, but essentially they just become a number. And these people who are numbers, you don't know them. They're strangers. So if you're dedicating so much time time from your day to create pointless content for people who add no value to your life and you add no value to theirs, I don't see how that's a great use of time. The last thing I learned is that while being on social media, I was not present. In the present moment, I was constantly thinking about, ooh, what shot can I get for a reel? Ooh, this would make a really good Instagram post. Ooh, this would be really good for TikTok. You know, my novio, my boyfriend, he would take me to beautiful places and I would think, oh my goodness, this is a great moment to like capture some video footage for reels. Or, oh, I'd be out with my friends and they'd be laughing like while we're having a picnic, and I think, oh my goodness, like this is so aesthetic. Like people desire moments like these and we're experiencing it, so I'm gonna capture it and then I'm gonna post it and like the reel will go viral. Honestly, not having social media has impacted my life in such a positive way. My novio and I, we went to Seattle and I didn't once feel like I had to pull out my phone and capture anything. If I did, it was just for the two of us. We've started photo albums and those are memories that are meant for just us, our family, our friends to look at, and it's so wholesome and I love it so much. Now when I'm with my friends, I'm just totally present. I'm hearing them out, they're hearing me out. You know, if we take a photo, that's for us and I love it. I'm not living in the present moment trying to create content for the validation of strangers. That's just not how I use my time anymore. So that concludes everything I've learned since piecing it from social media. I'm new at this. I know you're supposed to introduce yourself at the beginning, but I'm gonna do it now. Hi, my name is Cassandra, and welcome to my very first talking video. My goal with this channel is to share my experiences and hopefully inspire you to live a wholesome and meaningful life. I am someone who struggled with anxiety quite a bit, so I do plan on sharing some personal stories and insights as to how I cope with it for it not to get in the way of me living my life. So if that's something that interests you, if you're trying to better yourself, then I welcome you to join me so that we can work on bettering ourselves together. Bye!